My name is Bob Mergenthaler, and I run a little manufacturing company. I produce a couple patented products, and nowadays it's hard to find something to invent. And you're never going to sit down and say, well, I want to invent something today. You have to hang around until you hear somebody, like I said, cussing it or yelling it, and then go, well, what's wrong? And when they tell you, that's something that needs to be invented. This is the armature, and it's a three-phase AC servo motor. And this is the armature of the motor. This is the stator of the motor with the magnets. So it's a permanent magnet servo motor. And there's a series of coils, copper wire wound around inside here, and they bring them out through these wires. And as you pass those coils of wire through the magnetic field, it produces electricity. And stuff like this can be used for, like, trains. Basically, they can put the magnets in the track or in the train, and the coils in the track or the train, whichever. As a little child, I pulled a plug out of the wall and put my fingers across it, and it threw me across the room, and I went back and did it a second time, and I think I was hooked. The first thing I ever took apart, well, I used my dad's tools a little bit, and he says, you're not allowed to use my tools. I'm a little kid, And so I got my own little toolkit for Christmas. So everybody leaves for Christmas luncheon or whatever, and we had no air conditioning, we had a box fan. So I took this box fan completely apart by the time they got home from their little luncheon. And my dad was upset, people are upset, and all my mom says was, you put that back together right now, and that's exactly what I did, and it worked. And that's when I went, I think I'm onto this stuff. And then my dad said you can't take anything apart in the house anymore, so I went outside and took the faucet handles off of every faucet for a 2-block area. When I got caught with all the faucet handles, they said put them back, and I knew where every one of them went. I got kicked out in high school during final exams, and so I never got a diploma and didn't need one. I spent about 6 years basically studying under scientists and engineers at the local manufacturing companies. And went out on my own and built stereos and repaired stereos and band equipment. And then I went to Palm Beach County Traffic Department and set up digital traffic signals for the county, and went to the bridge department and repaired the drawbridges for the county, 10 drawbridges, and saw the boats go by and decided to go work on boats, and invented a float switch for boats and Tefgel for boats. First actual invention was the float switch, the automatic bilge pump switch. I was rewiring boats, and one of the boats almost sank because of a inferior little pivoting float switch, and they wanted to blame me till I proved it was the float switch. And about 1.5 2 years later, I invented a magnetic float switch called the Ultra Pump Switch Junior and Senior. The float switch is a device to automatically turn your bilge pump on if water gets into your boat. The device has to turn the pump on when the water rises, has to reliably shut it off when it drops. If it doesn't shut it off, you'll burn up the pump. If it doesn't turn on, you'll sink your boat. And for 20 years, we've been manufacturing them right here in West Palm Beach. And Tefgel is a very heavyweight, molecular weight paste that seals the water out and isn't washed away and stops the galvanic corrosion effects. Manufacturers of, very up-end equipment and machinery have learned that Tefgel makes the things maintainable. Oshkosh Truck builds military vehicles. They have to be maintainable for 22 years. 6 months to a year after they build them, they couldn't get them apart to repair them. They started using Tefgel about 10 years ago, and everything comes apart 10, 15, 20 years later, so you can maintain the equipment you bought. I was in the U.S. Army for a little while, worked on Cobra helicopters, did electronics, and there I was drafted. And NASA, I worked for Solitron Devices, and they built devices for NASA, and we got to go to the Cape once in a while and watch installations. And so I got to hang around a lot of very smart people. That's where I got my education. Well, if God was all the energy in existence, from the Big Bang on, every bit of energy, and every bit of energy makes every bit of matter, so it's still made out of energy. That piece of metal, my body, everything's made out of energy. So if all the energy in creation was God, then I'd go along with it that, hey, God made man and the planets and this and that. So, wake up in the morning, look at a tree and say, Joe can't make it, I can't make it, but something did, so whatever that something is, have a little respect for it, because you wouldn't be here without it. I'd almost say something's going to happen that scares everybody into being more careful with what they're using up, and it's almost like when times are good, everybody's happy and everybody just hangs out. When times are bad, that's when everybody pulls together and tries to do something about it. Hate to think the times got to get bad for us to get off our butts and go do something about it, but it's kind of what's happening. Nowadays, I think people have got it so easy that they'll bitch about or whine about the little things they don't have that they don't really need. And they spend so much time upset with that they don't have time to really enjoy a good life. And I just say everybody should just go find something that they really love to do. I found electronics, I really love it. In 58 years, I've never had one moment that I wasn't happy about doing what I do. And if somebody said back then, well, you can make more money being a real estate broker, if I ever was that real estate broker, I damn sure wouldn't be happy right now. So you just got to find something you really like to do, and that will cause you to do it well, and then you'll be happy, because you'll be proud of the stuff you do because you love it. Find something you love to do and do it well.